Shubor nakaslem jong unongsan Hima.
Myntri rangba ke Jylla ukon rat sangma habakren bakinong thok khobor ha kasi palay hadin belawai ke jingelang ki Kynhun Myntri ula pentip baka sorkar kala shemya karai halor bun tiliki mat kum ka Meghalaya official language arhaja apun rio kabaga ktien khasi bat garo kan long ka ktien sorkar ne ka official language Myntri rangba ke Jylla ula pen benaru baka sorkar kala rai ban bo ya ka expert committee nak benta ban sedang genthop lang ya ka lenong hak by day bat ka history Jong ke Jylla bat ki jingtip hak ki examine MCS hak ba u neka MCS kari bendon ye kenu ke jingtip halor ke Jylla ka sorkar kala ye keren ru halor bun ki pat kimat.
So very good evening to everyone. We had a cabinet meeting today, and we had taken up 10 formal items in the cabinet. The first item was the approval of the draft resolution against the mining of uranium in the state of Meghalaya, which will be moved in the upcoming autumn session of 2026. Which will start on the 24th of this month. So the resolution was cleared by the cabinet today. The second agenda was the Meghalaya Official Languages Bill 2026. As you're aware that this had come in the form of an ordinance, and now since the session is coming, we will be formally taking up the bill and passing the new act, amended act, where Khasi and Garo also will be official languages of the state. Third was the speech that has to be given in the Independence Day. Those different aspects of the speeches were discussed and were shared with the cabinet. We had put up an expert committee to basically include a chapter on the state, on Meghalaya state and its history, its culture, and all the other information in the MCS competitive exam. So there's going to be an additional paper number 6, which will be specifically on the state of Meghalaya, and the objective being that MCS officers must have knowledge of the state, including its history, its culture, its different systems, and different economic aspects, and so on and so forth. There's a full report on it, which was submitted by the committee, which was headed by Professor David Semle, and we have approved that committee's report today in the cabinet. Fifth, we had the approval of an automatic appeal mechanism for online applications under the Ease of Doing Business for the Meghalaya Right to Public Service Act 2020. The objective being that once the specified time frame is over for a particular service to be delivered to a citizen, and for whatever reason if it's not delivered, the particular citizen will not have to appeal. The appeal will happen automatically. So this is of course applicable for online applications, and therefore that amendment in the act was made, and this will ensure that this act is further strengthened and the people get the service that they deserve on time. The sixth was the proposal of extension of the registration period under the Meghalaya Industrial and Investment Promotion Policy 2024, and it was for a specific period. So now that period has lapsed, and therefore we are further extending it by 1 year to enable companies to come and invest and take benefit of the Meghalaya Industrial and Investment Promotion Policy. So 1 year extension has been given to the same policy. Number 7, the Meghalaya Commerce and Industry Service Amendment Rules 2026 was amended. Again, a very minor change was made. There was a certain aspect of the age factor, which was still at 27. And as you know, the cabinet has decided to increase the limit to 32 for the scheduled tribes of the state. And that amendment had to be made in these rules. So those amendments were made. Number 8 and number 9 were similar. So I'll mention it both together. So here the major amendment was made in the taxation department and the excise department. The objective of the state government, after going through multiple review meetings, is to merge the VAT on alcohol that is there along with the excise duty regime. So the point being that VAT was being handled by the taxation department, and excise was being, or rather ad valorem was being handled by the excise department for the alcohol liquor. So the decision was made that both these will be merged and it will come under the excise department. This will ensure better monitoring, better coordination, and obviously it will lead to also impact on the overall revenue increase for the excise department. The last decision was a very simple procedural decision. There are regular amendments that are made to the goods and services tax at the council level, and also from the government on time to time, which requires all the states to adopt it and pass it in their own act. This is a normal thing that happens every now and then, and so the recent changes that were made in the goods and services tax at the national level have been adopted by us, or rather going to be adopted in the form of a bill, which we will bring to the House. So that had to be passed by the cabinet today, so that we can present it in the assembly in the autumn session. These were the decisions that were put up today. Certain developments are there in certain areas. First of all, I'm happy to inform everyone that the clearances required for the Shillong Airport runway expansion, all the clearances have been approved. And I'm happy to announce that the work for the extension of the runway has started. This is a very, very important step for us. We had a lot of challenges, but after a deep discussion and detailed discussion, and also my last visit that I made to Delhi, these matters were sorted out, and the work, as I said, of the runway has started, and we expect that this work maximum will be completed in the next 15 months, though we expect it to be faster and before that. So by next year, 2027, we do hope and expect that the larger flights from the different metros will be landing directly in Umroi Airport. Second is, of course, as you must have seen in the news, that the Garo Hills Autonomous District Council has recently amended the rules, Rule 128 and 129, which was done on the 10th of August. And this is a very, very important step forward, as this is going to create a separate electoral roll for the Garo Hills Autonomous District Council. And as it has been mentioned in that amendment, that only residents and citizens belonging to scheduled tribe will be able to vote, scheduled tribe of Meghalaya will be able to vote in the Garo Hills Autonomous District Council elections. Now, this is a very important step, and this also goes in line with the different commitments that have been made from our side also as a government. And we are happy that this is an important step towards protecting the identity and the different rights of the tribal community of the state of Meghalaya. I also had a meeting with the Union Finance Minister in my recent visit, and in that my main agenda was to request the Union Minister to not impose any ceiling on the externally aided projects, And as you're aware, we had a meeting a couple of months back, and Union Minister was very keen, but still there are some discussions going on, and we have urged her again that that if the ceiling is not there, it will help and support, especially states like Meghalaya. There have been recent meetings where a large number of projects have been approved. New projects have been approved for Meghalaya, but as I said, the official notifications have not come out, so I will not give details of that right now. But the official meeting has taken place, and approval to certain EAPs have been given, new EAPs, and I'll share that with you once the minutes of those meetings come out. But beyond what has been approved, we have urged that the ceiling be removed so that we can apply for more schemes in the future. In my visit to Delhi, I also had a meeting with Union MOS for Ayush, independent charge, Shri Pratap Rao Jadavji. And in that, I have requested that if the NIA office that is there in Shillong, if that can be expanded, and different facilities like herbal gardens and different centers, sports activity facilities for students, and other infrastructures can be added. It would help the institute at large, and of course the students out here. So therefore that meeting was very positive, and I'm hoping for a positive response from the ministry. I also had a meeting with the Union Environment Minister, Forest and Environment Minister, and the discussion was mainly regarding the implementation of the MEPRF fund, that is the reclamation fund, which the state government collects. But as you're aware that this particular fund is monitored by an oversight committee, which is headed by an additional Secretary, Government of India. And we have urged them that if the proposals that are submitted can be cleared on a regular basis, it will help us to implement the scheme and the program in a much faster manner. And I'm very happy that after my meeting, the chairman of the oversight committee held the meeting of the oversight committee just about 3-4 days back, and the proposals that were pending have been cleared. I also had a meeting with the coal ministry, with the ministry officials of the coal ministry. This is as a follow-up to the meeting I had with Honorable Minister and Secretary and Additional Secretary. And in that meeting, my request was to make necessary changes to allow the small time miners who have lesser area to also be able to enter legal mining. And the current form in which 100 hectares is required or is kept as a minimum level is too high, and most of the local miners are not able to apply. As you're aware, the minister was very positive in his meeting. He asked us to form a committee immediately. This was about a month back, and I'm happy to inform you that the committee has been formed, and there are members from our side, which includes our additional chief secretary, our principal secretary, and our AG, as well as our director of mining. And already one meeting has taken place at the official level of the committee, and also discussions have happened twice with the additional secretary and the technical team. And I have also met the additional secretary myself after the first meeting took place. And the second meeting is due to take place in the next couple of weeks. We're very hopeful, as I said, that we'll be able to find a positive solution so that our small time miners are also able to legally find a solution and be able to operate their mines in a safe and a legal manner. So this is a very important step for us, and I wanted to share with the press as well as with the public at large that things are moving in a positive direction.
So regarding uranium mining resolution, apart from this, sir, there has been a demand for the government to consider removing the AMD office from Shillong. So what is the take of your
Yeah, so as I said, all of these are the intent of the government. But right now, as I said, the resolution is very clear that we are appealing to Government of India that any form of mining or any kind of activity in relation to uranium should not be done in the state of Meghalaya. So once that is moved, then obviously all steps from our side in every possible way to ensure that none of these activities takes place. All efforts will be made from our side.
Individual partner, MDA partner, UDP has taken up the MRSSA issue with that. What is the stand from the CM?
In my last visit, thank you so much. I forgot about that. In my last visit to Delhi, we had a very detailed meeting with the Home Secretary. And just to share with you, the Chief Secretary as well as Commissioner Secretary, Home Police and Political, they have had meetings, different rounds of levels of meeting with Home Secretary on the all detailed aspects of the MRSSA. And we have been moving in the positive direction and right direction. As you're aware, these are matter of details, and therefore it requires a lot of consultation, a lot of discussion at the official level. But in our last meeting we had with Home Secretary, we could understand that the Home Ministry, MHA, and Government of India are very positive about it. And in our discussion, a lot of positive points came out. The Chief Secretary and Commissioner Secretary Political will be having a meeting very soon again. And we're very hopeful that we'll be able to take it forward in the right direction. But as I said, till things don't happen, it will be not correct for me to disclose all the aspects of things and what are the issues that are there. But I can only tell you that, as I said, discussions were very positive, and Deputy CM and myself had a very long discussion with Home Secretary, and we're very hopeful that it will move in the right direction.
Sir, there was an ultimatum submitted to your office by the Kasi Students' Union to revoke or to make the public hearing on the Sri Cement null and void, and not only the PSU but several other unions also had urged the same. Has the government looked into this matter, sir?
We are engaging with different organizations and looking at all the aspects. As you're aware that the other side also of the story is that there are a lot of the local people in that area, particular area, who are involved, are very much happy and have supported the industries coming in. So therefore, we have to take all stakeholders into confidence. We have to ensure that we speak to everybody. So the engagement is on, and after discussion and engagement, we will see how to proceed.
So why was there no accountability on those who dug up the roads?
An inquiry has been put up already. The Deputy Commissioner has already put up an inquiry into what is happening, so we are awaiting the reports.
So will government call them for talks, these anti-Sri Cement groups?
We'll see. We'll keep all our options open. As you're aware that we have never closed our doors for any discussions. We've always believed that discussion and dialogue is the best way to move forward. And if there are any concerns, any misconceptions, or any areas of confusion, we'll be happy to discuss and clarify so that we can all move together in a positive direction.
So last question, sir. We have seen the Congress chief, Marvin Pala. He has alleged that the MDA will support the FCRA bill in Parliament. What do you have to say on this?
Basically, the question of supporting or not supporting arises only after we see the details of any particular bill or act. Now the FCRA has been sent to the JPC. Details will be seen and discussed in that. So therefore, the question of supporting, not supporting doesn't arise right now. I think what is important is, the intent of individuals and leaders and political parties, because it's not about politics or taking credit or putting down a particular political party. I think what's important is the issue in front of us. So to be very frank, sometimes I wonder why the politics takes over so much more than the issue itself. I don't know how many times Mapala has met, Home Minister, or even, asked his leaders to meet and discuss and take up this issue at the Home Secretary level. So I think actions are important. One can always criticize and condemn anybody else. The question is, what have you done? What is your role? What is your contribution? And how are you contributing? I'm very happy the other day, the UDP MLAs had gone to meet Home Minister and discussed about FCRA. I saw other leaders from other political parties going and meeting. That's really what matters, you see. And again, yesterday also I was asked a question about the fact that some people are saying that, we didn't do enough for the FCRA. I was asked a question yesterday. And I think that's just not the point again, For us, what is important is the issue should be resolved. This is a matter that concerns our people. And we should ensure that we can do whatever we can to make sure that our people are protected. And I think that is what is important. Also, I want to share with you that we have also taken a decision. And I think this is in fact a separate news, so you can take it down in a separate way. I would like to inform you that the Meghalaya government has decided that we will be forming an FCRA cell within the Home Department in the government of Meghalaya itself. This, of course, will be done in consultation with Government of India. And the purpose of this cell will be to help in coordination with central government to see effective way in which the different problems being faced by our different organizations when it comes to renewals and applications can be addressed right here in Shillong itself without having, or in Tura or in Jowai, without having to travel to distant places like Delhi. And obviously in this coordination, we are seeking the support of Government of India, and just I can tell you without giving too much of details that this matter also was discussed with the Home Secretary, and we are working on a mechanism where Government of India officials also will be there to support time to time in order to ensure that any kind of problems and challenges that are there will be looked into. But the government of Meghalaya will take the initiative, as I said, to form that cell, an FCRA cell within the Home Department, in the state government, in different locations where if necessary, which will help and support different organizations in their process of applying or renewing their FCRA license. So that's something that we're going to do. And so therefore these things are going on. And as I said, it'll be nice that all political parties should see beyond politics in this and really see how we can contribute towards ensuring that a positive outcome comes in. It's not about taking credit. It's not about saying I did it and you didn't do and blaming each other or anybody else. I think there is a lot at stake. So I think this is not the time to play politics, but it is a time to work together to ensure that we are able to find a solution where certain concerns of Government of India are there when it comes to monitoring and regulating foreign currency, which is a natural procedure that happens throughout the world. But while the procedure to monitor and regulate foreign currency happens, our people should not suffer in terms of them being, facing difficulty and challenges or their assets being seized. So to strike the balance between these two needs is really the need of the hour. And that's what we're working towards, to find a mechanism for regulation, yet not harassing or affecting or damaging our institutions and our organizations which are here helping and working for the poor people of our state. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.